telling your story. This is WCBI Midday.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I am Charity Johnson. A Lowndes County man is dead after Thursday night's crash. Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant tells WCBI the wreck happened just after 6 p.m. on Highway 69 South, just north of the intersection with Hughes Road. 32-year-old Danielle Maddox was traveling north on 69 when he reportedly lost control of his vehicle and collided with a southbound Nissan SUV. Maddox died at the scene. The driver of the Nissan was taken to Baptist Golden Triangle with non-life-threatening injuries. The Mississippi Highway Patrol and the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office are investigating the crash. State law enforcement and the Noxubee County Sheriff's Office are on the hunt for an escaped inmate. Robert Cage escaped from the Mississippi Department of Corrections Work Center in Noxubee County late this morning. It is believed that he sealed a fence at the facility to get away. Cage is in the first few months of a 5-year prison sentence on the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, conviction out of Union County. The early search was focused on a wooded area near Industrial Park Road, not far from the Work Center. Anywho, anyone who has seen Cage or may know where he is should call 911 or the Noxubee County Sheriff's Office. A Starkville man will spend the rest of his life in prison for a deadly 2021 shooting. 24-year-old Benjamin Brownlee Jr. was convicted and sentenced in Oktibbeha County Circuit Court for the shooting at Sandhill Arms Apartments that killed Xavier Armstead and seriously injured another person. Brownlee received life without parole for murder and 40 years for attempted murder. The sentences will run consecutively. A former Marine recruiter will spend the night 2 decades behind bars. 25-year-old Brady Patrick Dean of Tupelo pled guilty to 6 counts of sexual battery of a child. Prosecutors say the crimes involved 3 teenage victims, all between 16 and 18 years old, while Dean was serving as a Marine Corps recruiter at local high schools. A judge sentenced Dean to 60 years with 40 suspended, meaning he'll serve 20 years day for day. Once released, Dean will be on supervised probation for 5 years and must register as a sex offender. Ackerman city leaders say things are finally starting to stabilize after months of change. In just over 120 days, the city has held a special election, hired a new police chief and city attorney, and now has a full slate of officers. Aldermen approved 5 new hires, Valika Nash and David McCool as full-time officers, and Dillian Cates, Stacy Strickland, and Marcus Rodriguez as part-time. Chief Isaac Newman says some of the new officers are temporary while he continues building the force.
It feels a whole lot better. I actually have help. The citizens have help. You know, I'm not the one trying to run around and do everything all by myself, which of course the county has been helping us out. So we actually haven't put it out there because, of course, I just started Tuesday. So I do want to put it out there more.
Also, Ward 4 Alderman Brent Teleno gave his resignation to the board. Teleno's resignation was accepted tonight. He was in his 2nd term after running unopposed in the June 2025 election. His resignation is effective at the end of the month. This weekend's NFL games will be overshadowed by the tragic death of Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Kneeland. Officials say Kneeland died by suicide after a short police chase. The 24-year-old in his 2nd season had just played what was probably his best game at pro. Jason Allen has more, and we warn you, his report contains some upsetting audio from the police search for Kneeland.
She's saying he is armed and has a history of mental illness, and her quote was, "He will end it all."
Speaking to Marshawn Kneeland's girlfriend late Wednesday night, Texas police got a glimpse into the final moments of the Cowboy player's life.
They just received a text from him, a group text saying goodbye. They're concerned for his welfare.
Police and state troopers say Kneeland led them on a pursuit after a traffic violation. After losing sight of the vehicle, they say they found it crashed, with Kneeland nowhere to be found. After a short search, police say they discovered him dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
O'Donnell has it blocked!
Kneeland's death came just 3 days after what was seemingly a dream Monday night under the lights for the 24-year-old Cowboy.
Kneeland, the touchdown!
The second-year defensive end was mobbed by teammates as he scored his first NFL touchdown in what turned out to be his final football game.
I heard from Marshawn, I heard for his family, I heard for his girlfriend, I heard for every single one of my teammates.
Marshawn Nealand, defensive end from Western Michigan.
The Cowboys drafted Nealand in the second round in 2024 after a standout career at Western Michigan and a record-setting high school career. But to those who knew him, Nealand's qualities as a person outshone his otherworldly talents on the field. His former college coach called his leadership, energy, and smile infectious, and says his passion for life and teammates were unmatched. And Nealand's agent wrote, "To lose someone with his talent, spirit, and goodness is a pain I can hardly put into words." Jason Allen, CBS News, Dallas.
We were tracking showers earlier this morning, but we're seeing a bit of a lull in the activity now. Most of those showers moved off into Alabama. And here's a look in Columbus, where we've got the sunshine out. It's a little bit cloudy though now, 75 degrees at the moment. Got some wind coming out of the south there, around 11 miles an hour. Later this afternoon, we'll warm up to 77 degrees for that high temperature later this afternoon, keeping around the chance for some isolated rain and storms. So I'll have more details on that coming up.
Thank you, Scott. For the second month in a row, we don't have a jobs report to look at on this first Friday because of the government shutdown. CBS News analyst Jill Schlesinger says there is other data out there providing a look at hiring and the direction employers are headed.
For the second consecutive month, the government has not released job market data, but alternative reports are giving us a sense of where the labor market stands. Payroll giant ADP said private companies added 42,000 jobs in October, reversing losses from the previous months. But small to medium-sized firms are still struggling. All of the job creation came from companies employing at least 250 workers. Separately, job search site Indeed reported the lowest level of job postings since February 2021 amid the pandemic, while outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas reported that announced layoffs jumped in October. Taken together, they paint a picture of sluggish hiring. If you're worried about staying employed, you're not alone. There's ample evidence job hugging is replacing job hopping. If you really fear the axe might fall, fight the urge to hunker down and instead be proactive, focusing on what you can control. Raise your hand for any new opportunity in your current job. Update your LinkedIn profile and fire up your network. Set a goal of connecting with at least one person each week through the end of the year, and make sure to respond to others who've reached out to you. Helping someone else now may prove the boost you need in the future. In New York, I'm Jill Schlesinger.
Pets Without Partners is next after the break. Found out how you can be this furry friend's forever home when we come back.
And spell your name for me for a mic check.
Laura Grace Hardy, LauraGraceHardy.
Welcome back, everyone. Laura Grace and Mavis are joining me for this week's segment of Pet Without Partners. Laura Grace, tell me a little bit about Mavis.
Yeah, so Mavis is about 9 months old. She's a terrier mix. So she's fully grown, but she's still an older puppy.
Okay. And so what type of home do you think will be best for Mavis?
Yeah, so with any puppy, Mavis is going to need a home that's able to give her stimulation and attention. She's not crate trained, I do know that, so it's going to be someone, which is pretty typical. Any dog you bring into your home, you're going to have to work on crate training. But with her being older, she's past the phase of chewing things up. She's potty trained. So she's really ready to just go into any home that's going to be able to give a young dog attention.
Okay, and just for the viewers, how old is Mavis?
She's about 10 months old, so she's fully grown, but she is still a puppy.
Okay, does she have her shots yet?
Yes, Mavis is fully vaccinated, spayed, completely ready to go.
Okay, that's great. And so how does she work with other animals? Does she work well?
Yeah, Mavis is completely dog and cat friendly. She's never met an animal she didn't get along with. She's even one we can put out with like teeny tiny puppies because she's so gentle.
Okay, that's awesome. And so it's cold weather coming up pretty soon. And so can you talk to the viewers, just tell them about how important is it to bring your pets on the inside?
Yes, so we always recommend and prefer that animals live indoors, especially in the case of severe weather. So the colder it gets, please start considering a cold weather plan for your animals, even something as far as a heated dog house with some hay, a coat, just anything to help protect them.
Okay. And so if someone was to see like a stray on the side of the road, what's the best next steps for them?
Yeah, so the best thing to do is to either call animal control and have them come pick the animal up, or if you feel comfortable approaching the animal, you're always welcome to grab it yourself. If you're looking for a new member of the family, you can keep it, but if not, any animal control or any animal shelter would so much rather take that animal in than it live on the streets.
Okay, and are there any programs or events coming up or something new about the Humane Society?
Yeah, we have a fundraising event actually next Saturday. It's called the Tail Trot, and all information can be found on our Facebook.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And for any information, you can contact the Columbus Lowndes Humane Society, and we'll be right back.
Your WCBI First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Scott Brown.
Hey there, thanks for joining us back here on Midday. Well, here's a look in Vernon right now. You can see very overcast skies at the moment. Kind of looks a little scary out there, but 70 degrees in Vernon, a dark and gloomy day here in Northeast Mississippi. 77 degrees is going to be that afternoon high temperature later this afternoon. We're also keeping around the chance to see some isolated rain and storms as we head into the evening hours. Any storms that do develop and are able to really get going, the main threat with those will just be some gusty winds. Part of our area does remain in a level 1 out of 5 risk for seeing severe weather, mainly our eastern counties here that border the Mississippi-Alabama state line. Our western counties, thankfully, are not in that risk, so we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that as we head into the evening hours. Tomorrow, during the day, we'll see high temperatures reaching the upper 70s once again, 79 degrees here in Columbus, some areas reaching 80 degrees. Down in Carthage, 80 degrees for that high temperature on Saturday. We'll also have rain chances Saturday, so I'll go ahead and track all of this out for you as we head throughout the next several hours. Here's a look at later this afternoon. Going to continue to see a lull in that activity, but as we approach the evening and overnight hours, we'll start to see a few more spotty storms pop up in our area. These are storms that could potentially become strong and produce some gusty winds and maybe even some hail there around the 9 o'clock hour. But you can see much of that activity going to stay up to our northeast along with that cold front that'll be passing through over Tennessee there. Overnight tonight will clear out for the most part, and starting tomorrow morning, most of us will start out dry. Could see a few isolated showers though tomorrow morning as well. And then throughout the day tomorrow, we'll continue to see this cold front push into our area. Could see a few showers associated with that there tomorrow afternoon. But overall, after that front passes, we're going to be nice and dry as we head into Sunday. We'll keep that heavy cloud cover around throughout the day on Sunday, but overall, a dry end to the weekend after that cold front passes. The jet stream is responsible for this active weather we're seeing. We can see as we head into Saturday, the jet stream is going to start to dip down closer to our area, and by Sunday you can really see we're going to start to get some of that polar air starting to come into our area. By Sunday, that cold air is going to work its way down, and we're going to be very chilly as we head into Sunday night, and the day on Monday. The next couple of days, though, we're going to be nice and warm with temperatures in the upper 70s. And then by Sunday, we're clearing out and cooling down. 60 degrees there on Sunday. Overnight Sunday into Monday, reaching freezing temperatures. And then during the day on Monday, high temperatures are only going to be in the upper 40s, cooling down to the mid 20s Monday night before we warm up to end next week.
Telling your story. You're watching WCBI Midday.
Welcome back, everyone. Friday night is here, so you know that means Friday night football. And like most parts of the country, football is the most popular sport, and it definitely tops the list in Texas. And while everything may be bigger in the Lone Star State, CBS News shows us how they made football just a little bit smaller.
The school auditorium is rocking in the tiny town of Gordon, Texas, population 500. Excitement ahead of the football game is as big as Texas. Even if the contest itself is downsized, these Longhorns play six-man football. Mike Reed is the coach.
Describe six-man football to people who don't know what it is.
It'd be like watching a basketball game with football pads on. It's very, very fast. It's very high scoring.
And very realistic for schools too small to field an 11-man team, says Reed, who also drives the team bus to the games. Like this one in Lingleville, Texas, home of the Cardinals. High school football, almost religion here in Texas, is typically played in front of thousands. The stands here hold only a few hundred, but pride runs just as deep.
I think it's a necessity for a small school. It's just a huge booster. It's a morale boost for the whole community.
Six-man has been around for decades, but is seeing a resurgence as rural populations decline. Texas now has more than 230 teams, up from 80 in the 1990s. In towns like Gordon, it's often the social event of the week.
It's the coffee shop, essentially, of when you've lost Main Street.
Granger Huntress is a freelance reporter who's covered the sport for decades.
So it's important.
It's very important to these communities. It's a sense of identity. There's this sense of pride. You know, this is our team. You know, we haven't had to shut down yet. We're still open.
Six-man is a shorter and narrower field. Kicks are worth 4 points. A first down takes 15 yards. And every player does it all. Offense, defense, and special teams. The sizzling concession stand looks the same as any high school game. And plenty of hometown energy.
I feel like it's what brings people together, you know, in a world where it's so divided. It's like one thing we can get behind is six-man football, and that's exactly what we do every week.
Because there's a football team, there's also a cheer squad and a drum line. Offering the lessons of teamwork Coach Reed says every student deserves, regardless of where they live.
When they say, you know, football is life, it's not so much that football is life as it is that sports is life, adversity, and things that you have to learn through team building.
Preserving tradition, a leaner game with a lasting legacy, where the Friday night lights still burn bright. For Eye on America, I'm Janet Shamlian in Lingleville, Texas.
How do you find time to make lasagna with all that's on your holiday to-do list? Easily, once you know the secret. How do you find time to make lasagna with all that's on your holiday to-do list? Easily, once you know the secret. Whenever we find an easier way to cook something, we can't wait to share it with you. Like simplifying lasagna, for example. It's a classic dish that we all love, but we often don't make because we think it's a lot of work. The good news is that we've come up with a way to throw one together in no time. Let me show you. First, we brown some sausage and set it aside. Then, we combine some ricotta cheese, an egg, chopped fresh basil, and some mozzarella cheese. Now we spoon half of the spaghetti sauce in the bottom of a baking dish. And here's the real time saver. We top that with uncooked lasagna noodles, so there's no need to wait for water to boil. Next goes the cheese mixture, the cooked sausage, and then sliced fresh mushrooms. We top that with the rest of the noodles, some mozzarella cheese, and more sauce. And it's okay if the noodles don't reach the edges because they'll expand when baking since we add a little water to the pan. Then we cover it and bake it off. What we end up with is layer after layer, oozing with lots of cheesy, meaty goodness. A little Parmesan cheese on top, and it's time to dig in. It's so simple, we call this the easiest lasagna ever. The recipe's online, ready for you to have on hand now through the new year. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where every day we're looking for an easier and a cheesier way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's one last look at your forecast. We have the chance for some isolated rain and storms today and tomorrow. After that, cooling off as we head into Sunday and Monday. Next Monday, starting the week off in the upper 40s, Charity. It's going to be pretty cold to start next week.
I see. I am not a fan of that. I still use my heater, even in the summer. So, yeah, but that food...
Definitely going to need the big jacket on Monday.
I totally agree. And the food we was looking at, I'm just going to have to find some vegan substitutes because got to eat something for Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Yes, join us back at 5.